Hey everybody, long time no talk. Thanks for joining us. We're just gonna do a quick update video on the camper and then we're gonna jump into some fabrication. So I apologize again. I mentioned on my first video and my second video that I'm terrible at this and I'm new to it. But I kept trying to shoot footage and cut it together and just hasn't happened. So how about we're gonna start from here. We're gonna do a quick update video on where we're at with this Tiger Van camper project that we got going on and what I've done so far, and then we're gonna get into fabricating a door for the, or a mount for the fuel filler neck. So yeah, let's jump into it. What we have here is a camper back that came off of a Astra van that was originally all built out by a company called Provan. This is a Tiger GT, which is the pop top with canvas. You can see here I've just aluminum patched all these old accessory holes. You can look at my old video. These were just gaping holes because the original person who bought this bought it for all the, from an auction after it was a burn victim, to buy all the appliances and then resell those and then scrap the rest of it. I was able to pick this up fairly cheap, so it sat for a long time until I pulled it off of the Astra van. And then I guess the new platform, this is a 2004 Ford F-150 heavy duty, so it's a 7-lug axle instead of a 6-lug axle. It has a 4-inch lift. It's running just about 35 inch tires. It has the 5.4 liter Triton 3 valve, which, yes, I know all about those. Already have parts on order to fix tensioners and phasers, but it actually had a very similar span from the back of the cab to our wheel. That was kind of a deciding factor. I wanted to put this on a pickup chassis because it's more capable, it's going to be better off-road, it has a true 4-wheel drive. This one actually has a manual transfer case. But let's jump into what we've done so far, get you up to speed. So obviously I patched up all these holes. I don't plan on running typical RV type appliances. I'm gonna run a 12-volt system, solar, but I'm gonna make it very minimalistic in there. This is gonna be a pretty hardcore off-roading, overlanding, ski camping kind of vehicle. So it doesn't need to be a wet bath in there, it's gonna be a dry bath, all that stuff. I still need to replace this and that vent, and just cap them off with some aluminum. I'll eventually paint these or vinyl wrap them. I haven't decided if I'm going to paint this whole thing yet or not, what we're going to do. So one of the first things that we needed to do is we needed to support the overhang. So originally these campers have a fiberglass piece and they rest on top of the Astra van. So that's what supports the overhang. And because that is no longer what we're doing, I went ahead and welded up this. I had some 2x2 aluminum, 1/4-inch wall aluminum, so pretty heavy duty stuff. Capped the ends, just make it look pretty. Did a gusset here, did some stitch welds, and then we just screwed this in from the inside. We did do a cross support with this little piece of C-channel that I had, that's aluminum as well. So this matches on both sides. That supports the center. As you can see, this is no longer, this comes off of the other camper, that's bare plywood. So we went ahead and got some Filler-on siding, which is made for RVs. It is a fiberglass, it's pre-finished, and then we got that attached on both the top and the bottom. We reinstalled our trims with butyl tape behind it, so it's nice and watertight. And that was kind of what we've done so far on this side. Now, when you wander around to the other side, you can see our other brace that we have in place. Again, just stitch welded because this isn't really doing too much. Got that guy installed there. Now the other thing I needed to do was rebuild this door. This door had an original glass that was gone. It was broken in half. It wouldn't open, the handle was busted, so I went ahead and actually used the original door framing. Used some more of that fiberglass Filler-on, or however you say it, correct me if I'm wrong. Siding on both front and back. The top, I was able to use a lot of the wood framing that was in there, so the top wood frame that was cut out to that, that was cut out to that angle, that's still in there. I put a big chunk of wood in the center and on the bottom, because those previously had just these little tiny pieces. So I wanted it to be a little bit more structured, and then filled the rest in with foam. I did buy a window for it, but it was too big. I didn't really like how big it was, and so I decided just to delete it. We're just going window free. That's it for this side as of now. And then the back. So the original tail lights were melted from the fire that the Astrovan had. It had come up under the bottom and melted those. So I went ahead to use these LED ones. They're all wired in through the Ford factory harness. They work really good. I've used them on another project, so, and I like that they have this little metal cage. It's a little chintzy, but it'll protect them a little bit if we back into something. Again, that's where the original light was, right here. So that's covered up. And then somebody had an AC in this at some point, just kind of one of those window unit ACs, and there was a big gaping hole. So again, aluminum sheeted over that, rivet that in. We'll need to paint that, or again, I'm not too worried about the aesthetics of this thing. I'm just trying to make it a good, capable vehicle. Now, this was the original bumper off of the camper, and I liked it because it already had the hanger for the spare tire. So I need to order a wheel, because this truck didn't come with a spare tire when I bought it. I do have double hitches now, which is kind of neat. So I can use one, maybe the top one for a bike mount, and then the bottom one if I ever need to tow something, or for a recovery point, I have that one in place as well. But what I did on that was I took the Ford, I don't know if you can see this, but these are the Ford factory braces, and then I cut up some really thick, I believe this is 1/4 inch steel. We welded it here, let me see if I can get in there. Welded it onto this bumper. Was made out of, like, I don't know, what is this, like an 8 by 2 inch piece of steel. So I welded those onto there, welded the Ford bracket onto the steel, and then used the original Ford mounting points for this bumper. So that's kind of where we're at there. Other than that, we built the door. Obviously we went over that. Got a little thing to hold it. Still not to rebuild that screen. The interior, the floor was medium. It was fine. It wasn't super solid. But I went ahead and over the original floor, I put a whole new layer of 3/4 inch plywood. This is the same kind of quality of plywood that they utilized originally, so I felt comfortable using this, plus it's going to get covered up. The camper is mounted to the Ford F-150 chassis with the original bed bolts. So these are really heavy duty bolts. I have 8 of them total, going through the 1.5 inches of plywood now into the frame, so that's nice. Current project is we're routing the fuel system for the Ford. That's actually the original. I stubbed it. I'll show you, because we're gonna fabricate a door for that, or a mount for it over there. Other than that, the only thing I've done in here is I gutted everything. There was a panel on the bottom there that was pretty rotted out from water protruding through the large opening where the AC was. The rest of this plywood's been in pretty good condition. There's a little bit above that window where one of the vents is at that needs to be repaired. I do plan on just keeping the majority of this, the sidewall stuff, because it's in good condition. I can sand it down, restain it, reseal it. And then, you know, the front wall. So typically there's a pass-through. You can see here where the pass-through originally was. I went ahead and got another 3/4 inch piece of, this was just some maple plywood I had sitting here from a previous project. So we cut that to fit, glued it, and then screwed it in. We will cover this wall with some plywood or something. I'm thinking about doing a little bit of that filler on here, just so I could put have stickers here or patches for where we travel. But yeah, overall the interiors, I'm happy where we're at. I'm not planning on going too hardcore on this interior, making it super nice. It's going to be finished, but you know, utilitarian, not luxurious. Need to insulate and finish covering these over. Again, we got the new lights wired in. We need to, you know, clean that, you know, just clean that area up. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. We've mounted it, we've wired it into the vehicle. We're working on getting the fuel system going. We're at a good blank canvas. I have new, speaking of canvas, I have new canvas or new top material coming in. I ordered that from Colorado Camper Vans last week. They're gonna have that to me in the next 4 to 5 weeks, they said, so that'll be cool. I also extended the top. The front fold assist is rotted away and trash, so I figured we'll replace the rear one and the front one, and we'll go with, instead of doing 22 inches tall at the top pop, we're going to do 30 inches, which will give us quite a bit more room on the cab overhang for sleeping and just sitting up in space. So that'll be nice. But today we're working on that fuel door. So now that we got everybody up to date, I'm going to go ahead and get you set up. I'm going to show you kind of the process I'm going through for fabricating that mount for the, I'm using the Ford factory filler neck. I've cut it, so we're gonna have to add a 2-inch piece of flexible hose, or fuel safe hose. We'll go to the auto parts store and get that. But otherwise, we're pretty much good to go and just fabricating that mount. And then I have a door that locks. I don't know if I'm gonna use it because it's like really shiny and like I guess I could sand it and make it like more of a brushed aluminum so it matches the rest of the aluminum, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see about that. Anyways, all right, let's get to fabrication. All right, guys, so what we have, this is the Ford factory fill neck. That's what I'm gonna utilize for the camper. So we're routing that obviously through the interior just due to the angle, and we need to have enough angle for the fuel to go down and into the tank, otherwise it just leaks out. Anyways, so my process here is I'm going to use some aluminum. I actually have some 1/8 inch aluminum that I had sitting around from, again, another project. I'm just trying to use as much of the material I have sitting around for this as I can without buying a lot of stuff, since I'm already going to have to buy electrical equipment and do some work to the truck. Anyways, so I already cut this from the main tube, right? So you can see here I did a nice clean cut. I utilized a pipe cutter. We're going to put a flex hose between, a little rubber hose between this end and the other end, so we can get the right angle on this tip. So the goal is to just build out a box that is going to allow this to be recessed enough from the face of the camper, so that if I want to utilize a fuel door or something like this, due to the fact that people will siphon fuel, I can. Now the only problem I have with this one, again, is it's aluminum, but it's like been chromed out, and I'm not a fan of that. So we may use it or we may not. I don't know if I can sand this all off. Anyways, it would be totally out of place on the camper since it's very rough. Anyways, so basically the way I'm doing this is I took a measurement from the edge of this flange where we're going to be mounting it. Can you guys, I don't even know if I'm in the camera. So I'm taking a measurement from the edge of where we're going to face it to the outermost part of this cap. Now the outermost part of this cap is basically 2 inches. I'm going to add 1/2 inch just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, right? Oh, actually no, I won't need to, because I'm going to have another 1/4 inch because this is going to mount. No, we do. We want to do a little over 2 inches. So we're going to do just slightly over 2 inches for the mounting face away from the camper exterior. That gives us room to have it recessed so it's not dragging against trees, getting ripped off. Also, like I said, if we want to put a fuel cap on there or a fuel door cover of some sort on there, we can. Next, I need to measure how wide this is. So you can see here, I've already measured this out where it just, wow, that's, we're at 4 1/4. So if we look at this, that's too big. Why did I go so big? I really just need 4 inches. So we might change that up. I think we just need 4 inches on this right here. So again, we're going to, I'm probably just giving myself a buffer. Maybe we'll leave it at 4 1/4. It's basically where we're at. Yeah, we're at 4 1/4. Okay. Now we need to track down some more aluminum because we need to offset this. What did we say?
2 inches at minimum. So let's go to the scrap pile and see what we have. All right, guys, so we're just gonna walk over to the scrap where we keep, well, I guess it's not scrap, it's where I keep all my metal, because my garage shop is super small. So we're gonna wander over here and see what kind of aluminum we have. I should have some strap from a previous project that we can use. Let's see here. Okay. So this is the aluminum side. Over there we have all of our steel and plate, other than I have some thick aluminum plate back there too. This is actually sign stuff. It's cool. It's aluminum on one side, or on both sides, and then like composite in the center. I'm gonna use that to remake our door in the back there. But, see, I have that guy that I've already cut. I think this is what we need. I think this is 2.5 inch strap. I think that's the stuff, guys. All right, so we were successful. Got some 2.5 inch strap right here from a previous camper build. We'll cut these to length. We only need this on, oh, we need all 4 sides. Never mind, I take everything back I was about to say. So we'll do this, knock out 4 pieces. I'll cut them on the chop saw real quick. So, you know, whatever. And then, so I'm gonna cut these on the chop saw real quick, and then we need to figure out how we're gonna mount, you know, we're gonna rivet this to the aluminum that covered up that hole, because we're putting it directly into the top left corner of one of the holes that was existing that got covered up. So I'm thinking we'll just use some 1/8 inch aluminum angle that I have on the outside of 3 of these sides, 2 of these sides actually, because I think these other 2 sides we could screw directly into the camper wood to mount it. So I'll get these cut, and then we will get to cutting this out and figuring out fabrication for all of this. Okay, so you guys saw, use the chop saw with just a high tooth woodworking blade. Chopped out our pieces here. That will give us our surround. Obviously these need to be cleaned up. Cool. So what's that gonna allow us to do? Get this mounted up flush, and then that'll protrude through. Yeah, it should be good. That should do the trick. Before I weld all of this though, I think I'm going to cut the hole for the filler neck to come through. So, find center on this thing real quick. Obviously it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just, I mean, this isn't a high stakes fabrication piece, right? We're not building engine or transmission mounts. We're not building critical components. This just has to hold a filler neck. So it doesn't have to be the most precise thing that's ever happened. 2 1/4 should give us enough room to get around that. 1 1/8. Yeah, it's 2.2 inches. So we'll just go 1.2 because it gives us a little room to get it in and out of there. Ah, a little movement there. Not the end of the world. Okay, so see our hole, it's close enough. It doesn't have to be absolute. Again, this is not high specs fabrication. We're using old aluminum. These are two different types of aluminum, I believe. I don't even think they're the same type, but they'll weld together, probably. When I say probably, I mean they will, and I don't really care if they do or not. We're gonna make it work. Let me see if I have a hole saw that size. All right, found a hole saw. I had to change the tip on it because the other one I had already broken. Yeah, we'll see how we're gonna do this. Probably need to clamp that bad boy down pretty well. Once we find a hole to line up to. That should do it there-ish. Yeah, okay. Let's see, I guess it's a fixture table. I never used this table. I bought it for one project, and it's, you know, it's like a cheapy one, but it kind of works. Let's see if we can make some stuff happen here. Yeah, that'll work, right? Okay. I need at least two. I don't want this thing going flying on me. Oh yeah, okay. That works great. Should be able to do this one over here too, right? The question is this giving me enough room to get the drill in still? Yeah, we'll be all right, probably. Maybe I should just do it up here. That'll probably be enough, right? One side, but like really cranked on it. Sure. All right. All right, those aren't going anywhere. All right, drill time. I guess I could have punched this hole, or like center punched. This is not going to be big enough, but this is the largest one I had. We're gonna, you know what? We'll be fine. Hold on. What am I hitting? I'm hitting something. Hold on. I'm hitting bolts. I need to not hit bolts. Do I need to go to a different hole? Yeah, let's go to a different hole. Okay. Let's go to this hole right here. I don't care about the table getting a little bit of gnar on it, but you know, the piece would be nice if it wasn't all. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Cool. Definitely chewed into the table, but whatever. It's a oopsie. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. We'll get the bird grinder out. That's the biggest hole saw I had, so. Okay, hold on, I'll be right back. All right, we're fixtured up again. We're gonna, until we got it to the right size, go on mask, because, you know, shards of hot aluminum in the eyeball are not what I'm looking for today. Got our electric Makita burr grinder. This thing has all the torque. I've broken all the bits, but we're gonna just take it easy. Just a heads up or a reminder, if you buy really expensive burr grinder tips, don't use them on this aluminum. Don't. Yeah, I ruined this one. But these are really cheapy Amazon ones that I got. I've broken a bunch of these, so I don't really care. It's not a big deal. I'm sure they make tips that are specific for aluminum, or maybe you have to use a variable speed grinder, but yeah, they'll gum them up real quick and yeah, ruin them. So that's where we're at. All right, cool. So we're ready to clean everything up and start tacking some stuff together. So we'll get the welder set up and get everything ready to go.
Hey guys, so unfortunately here you can see we lost audio. I'm pretty sure it had something to do with my high frequency welder running directly around or very, very near my GoPro media holder. Yeah, I tested it a few times. It's no longer producing audio on any settings. So kind of fried that bad boy, unfortunately. So I'll figure that out. It was secondhand, no big deal. So here we're just going through. We got in and got a couple of tacks on two of the vertical pieces, and then the end caps. I'm trying to fit those up, but I did ultimately cut these two again off camera because these two were just a little bit short. I like to have my pieces all overlap by half of the material thickness, and unfortunately these ones were just too short. So did get those recut, and then we were able to get them tacked in and then fully welded in. Here I didn't like how that was holding on, so I decided to go throw a couple more tacks on there. Now, I didn't feel much of it, but you can see here, this is the finished product. Not phenomenal. I am super out of practice when it comes to TIG welding, especially TIG welding aluminum. Last time I TIG welded was steel, mild steel. And this aluminum's really dirty. I don't know if it's because I've been letting it be stored outside or what, but there was just so much trash coming out of it when I was welding. So that was unfortunate, but luckily, again, not a super critical piece. We're able to get it done. Filler neck fits really nice. Just test fitting. We're gonna be good there. And then here you can see there are some changes. I actually put an angle on this. After the first test fit, I didn't really love the way the tail of that filler neck was coming out. So I did go ahead and cut an angle. And then, like I said before on the video, I went in and grabbed a little bit of 1/8 inch angle that I have and just did a couple of rivets on both of those pieces. Now here we're just going to go ahead and mark each of the 4 corners so that we can drill through, as you can see here. And then we're going to utilize the outside of those drill marks to mark our cut lines for cutting this opening. Yeah, and I know this looks a little silly with these patches on here right now, but again, I'm not super concerned about the aesthetics of this. I'm more just concerned about keeping it watertight. The death wheel worked pretty well for this. I didn't have a non-ferrous cutting disc. I just used a regular cutting disc, but it still got the job done. It did create a lot of heat, but otherwise it was fine. And then here we're just doing a quick test on it. Just confirming that we don't need to do any additional trimming. I did come back off screen and deburred it. Did a little bit of sanding, a little bit of fine tuning just to get it kind of where I really felt happy with it. But I was pretty happy with it overall. You can see it's a pretty good fit. I don't know what I'm messing with. I'm just like finagling with it way too much. After that, I did go inside and put some silicone on the flanges and the edges just because I want to make sure this is watertight. It's going to be, my camper's stored outside. I don't have any room inside to store this undercover. So I did want to ensure that at least it wasn't allowing any water to penetrate. So we'll get this clamped on for now. You can see I also went ahead and got a couple of holes drilled for the aluminum rivets that we're utilizing on those flanges. Now, I got one of them in pretty easy, and then the other one started kind of were giving me a hard time. So I'm sure this shifted a little bit. It wasn't perfect placement. I did ultimately get 2 of these in place before I did have to go and grab the drill and remount 2 of those other holes. Yep, there you go, to get the last 2 rivets in. And then she was mounted up. So yeah, there we go. All right, we're on attempt like 4 or 5 of getting a closeout video because I lost audio. Evidently the little surround thing that holds my mic on this thing doesn't work anymore. So we'll have to figure that out. That's what happens when you buy used stuff. Anyways, so it's still definitely way better than my last video. So anyways, we got the filler neck done. So really excited about being able to put fuel on this bad boy. You know, got it all aluminum fabricated, aluminum outside, aluminum out here. See, it fits really well, no interference. I just got a couple of machine screws just holding it in place for right now, but plenty of room for putting a lockable door at some point if we want to. Yeah, I think it was a success. Took longer than I needed to, but it's been a while since I did any welding of aluminum without the spool gun, so TIG welding, you know, it just takes practice. Luckily, again, this is not a critical-ish part. Otherwise, probably wouldn't have fabricated it out of aluminum. Anyways, but yeah, thanks again for watching. Hopefully I can get the video up in the next 2 weeks. My plan is to have a video up every 2 weeks for you guys, just kind of updating on the camper, updates on adventures, you know, whatever other fabrication stuff we're doing outside of just this one thing. But again, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions or comments, and I look forward to the next one. Thanks.